Sadness and anger are two emotions that have a vital relationship to one another. When one of these emotions is more prominent than the other, it indicates an imbalance between two vital emotional components. Let me explain this a little bit. If in childhood you had a family dynamic where you had a role model of somebody who utilized anger as a coping mechanism or a control mechanism, you probably learned that to be angry was dangerous and it was also harmful. So you learned to go be by yourself, to be quiet, to be sad by yourself because that hurt. Like the dynamics were painful. So you learned to be sad by yourself, and you also learned not to express your anger. You didn't learn how to express your anger in a healthy way, in a proper way. You only learned that anger was dangerous and that it was harmful and that it caused a lot of pain to people. You probably learned that you don't want to be this way. You might have learned that. So you changed and you put that anger aside. On the opposite end of this, well, let me just address that first, is that the after effects of this are very sometimes harmful to ourselves, because then we don't have a proper boundary that protects ourselves from anything. Anger doesn't have to be an overly defensive thing. Like people, when they have anger happening a lot more than their sadness is happening, that is because they are on a continual defense. It is a survival mechanism. They have not yet ever felt a safe space to even feel sadness, even though their sadness is probably largely fueling their anger. But they've learned that an angry stance is a more protective and a more safe stance for them because they have control, because they are the dominator. You see how this works? So the relationship between these two emotions is that your anger is a indicator of a boundary that needs to be present for you. A boundary that protects your own inner safety. Your emotional safety, your physical safety, your mental safety, psychological safety, and spiritual safety. When your anger is properly utilized, you can utilize this energy to fuel into a personal boundary. But it doesn't need to be like, meh, 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 it doesn't have to come out like that. But it can be an internal process of like, okay, I need this boundary to feel okay in myself. That boundary creates a space of safety where you can actually feel your sadness, which allows us to surrender, to accept, and to let go of something that we don't need to be holding on to, something that is not actually benefiting us to hold on to. And this is really important. Of course, we don't want to feel sad, but it's actually important. Like, this is where the relationship to our emotions gets to shift, because every emotion has a purpose, and every emotion can benefit us. Every emotion can help us develop into the people we need to be. Our emotions don't have to be these projections onto other people. And this is also where personal healing comes in, because when you heal your relationship to yourself and to your emotions and to your experience of life, then you can actually experience these things for the sake of the experience of it. And it's not going to control how you come out into the world, but rather it's going to enforce you in your dreams and your visions. And I'm going off, but anyway, this is a very important relationship between these two emotions. Hope that helps.